Hi and welcome to my playhouse. And today we're starting outside, even though the video is going to be inside in the data center. I'm doing like this because the sun is up and it looks like it could be a decent day today. So I want to try and mess around with trying to power my data center, which is not a lot of equipment because I have, well, power prices has been ridiculous. So I'm running the, I'm not gonna say absolute minimum, but I'm not running a lot right now. We'll probably see that later. But I have a solar panel up here. That's not gonna be it. I actually have 3 solar panels up there. They are gonna be it, and they are real solar panels. But they can actually go into the awesome Allpowers R2500, which is here. That can handle real solar panels coming in. So I want to try and put real solar panels into this and run the data center of this in a kind of particular way. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I have been preparing this. First thing, I've been reducing my power usage. Yeah, we can go through the bunker project here, which has come to quite a halt. I have realized that I'm drilling into the, well, where the house is built. So yeah, I can go far and beyond. So yeah, I haven't reached the bottom of the, what is that, foundations yet. So I have to come up with something else. Over here, from the panels up there, it might look like these 2 wires that comes right there, they come directly from the panels. They actually don't. They go into under the roof to a breaker, and then they come down here. So I need to extend them to go over and into the data center, which is pretty far, but it's not going to be optimal. So it's just going to be a proof of context. And I'll just bring them in through this thing here, and then they're in the data center and we can play around with it. Okay, so we need some extension leads for the solar panel thing here, and I have some wiring here that I had installed on my roof and then decided to change up the system. So they have the wrong length, or well, you usually want them as short as possible, but yeah, in this case I'm cutting a little bit off so that they are the same length, which is also a good thing. Would be irritating if the black one was too short and the red one was too long, and yeah. So now we need to figure out which connection to put on each end, because as they're an extension cord, it needs to be the opposite one. So this one needs this connector, that one. These are the MC4 connectors, and yeah, you put those on. And I'm sitting outside because I am, as a self-homegrown genius, I am collecting these Ryobi tools, and Ryobi has a soldering iron that very perfectly can do this job, even though I am crimping it, but I'm soldering it afterwards. So we want a good connection, especially with these long wires. We're gonna get plenty of losses already. Kind of simple stuff. You remove the insulation of the wires on a little bit of this, and then you crimp this on. So let's do that. These are good thick wires. I didn't cheap out because I knew they were going to be long, not for this project but for my roofing project. So these are 6mm solar cables. For this that we are doing here, it's way overkill, but as the wire is long, it improves it a little bit. There. And then we put that on here, and it goes into that thing a little bit. And then it crimps on the blue one. There, very nicely crimped on. And then I'm gonna solder it a little bit. I am so lucky that these connections, they go over this. I hope this one does too. There, so I don't have to put them on first, but then I can put this on afterwards. But when I click this on, it's very difficult to get that off again, so I'll solder it first. So the soldering iron is heating up. We need to put the wire here so I can work on it. So I'm gonna put a rock over it to keep it in place. Oh, okay. We need a good view of it. There. Okay, let's give it a try and see if this is warm enough. It melts on the soldering iron. I have to be careful not to damage or get solder on the clicky thing, so that the connector won't go into the plastic and click in place. I'm happy with that. That will do. I'll let that cool down, and then I'll do the red one in the meanwhile. Here we have the red one. I have removed the insulation. I need to crimp it. There. Pretty good. And we're ready for the soldering job. I'm sure that has a really good connection. We can turn off the soldering iron again and that can cool down. And I'm sure the black one is also cooled down enough so that I can, without any issues, put this connector on there. So yeah, this goes in here and it clicks in place. There, that wasn't a very good click, but it's in there. And then it's very important to have remembered these things, because otherwise it's too late. So yeah, we put that on. So now we have a extension lead for the solar panels. Very long ones. Let's see if the red one is cooled down as well. Yeah, it's good enough. So now I have to remember to put these things on here before I put the connector on, because otherwise I'm screwed. There, and then this one. There, and that's way better. I do have some tools to tighten this. They're in the basement. Okay, something is wrong here. We have these two wires coming in, but this is the charging cable for the R2500, and if I line that up, let's take the plus wire here, and yeah, that is then going into the minus wire. That means that I would get the wrong voltage. I think I have messed up along the way. Well, the wires we just did is an extension cord, so they have a different connection in each end. So I think the wires coming down from the solar panels might be messed up. So yeah, I got a multimeter sent to me ages ago from this company that wanted me to promote their stuff, but the deal was that they were gonna send me 3 things, and they never completed the shipping. So yeah, I'm not gonna promote them very much because, well, they didn't really hold up to their end of the bargain. So, but let's check out the multimeter. It's probably okay. I think it's, yeah. Batteries. Oh dear. Do I have to unscrew it to put in the batteries? And what is that? That's annoying. I have to take it apart to put in batteries. 4 batteries. AAA. Okay, we'll do that. Well, come to think of it, my Fluke, you also have to unscrew it to put in the batteries. So we have a compartment here. Oh, I was just gonna say it only takes 2 batteries, but they go up into it. So okay, comes with batteries though. That is so awesome. I remember back in the days when I was a kid, batteries was expensive. Nowadays they cost next to nothing. So compared to back then, I think the batteries might just have been more expensive compared to how much money you had back then. So okay, so far so good. Put this thing back in, figure out where the screw went, and of course it went far away. Got it. Should we just try and turn it on? Yes, good. Before we screw it in, before we screw it up. Okay, so I think we should be able to measure if the voltage is correctly. I've been up under the roof and turned on the solar panels, so we should have some voltage coming down that way. So I have some very regular probes here. That's some long protective hats. I think it's meant that you can shorten them as you want them, but yeah, that's very long. Nah. Okay, let's see, black, come in. And the red one goes next to it in the over here. It's kind of like the Fluke that I have, which makes it easier. So DC voltage, get rid of this annoying plastic if I can. Come there. Oh, okay, so that makes it harder to see on the camera, or does it? Yeah, it's about the same. Okay, I will try that one. It's not too bad. So DC voltage, so if the wires are correct, this is minus and this is plus, and we have 109 volts. And if we mix them around, do we then see a minus 109 volts? That would be the correct thing. Yes, we do. So the connectors are wrong, but not here, but where they come down from the roof. Okay, we need to change out some connectors. That's really unfortunate. So the whole setup has moved up here on my balcony. These connectors are wrong, so this one should have been that one, and that one should have been this one. Yeah, that's really annoying. I'm gonna see if I can get these connectors off. It's always nice to save the plastic. I have the tools. Just So when you buy these connectors, you usually get this tool with them. This hole fits here, and this one fits over there. So yeah, I can now turn this. I did prepare it. Didn't want to look like some wimp. So now we can try and force this. Yeah, it came out. I'm sure it's not good to do that, but this thing is not savable. I sort of, oh, this sleeve came off. Come on, here somehow. There, I think it's good to go. And this can come off again. So I need to cut off these connections, uninsulated, and put in the opposite connector. And I need to do one at a time so that I don't mix them up. So yeah, and I've naturally soldered this on. If I hadn't soldered it on, I could maybe reuse it, but yeah. A bit of a shame. We lose about this much cable. Okay, I changed those out, and as you perfectly well know, there's only one guy to blame for this. Yeah, the Pope. Moving on. Okay, so with that, I have naturally taken this extension lead and I swapped it around. So now this should be negative and this should be positive. And it is 108.7 volts. And the connectors going into this, red continues to be red and black continues to be black. So I think we're good to go. Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass off the concrete floor because I know how well grounded that is. So let's connect this. So now there is 110 DC volts here, so that hurts. Not fun. So there. So now we should have 110 DC volts here, and that goes into the Allpowers. Here is the back of the Allpowers, and the power is gonna go in there. And very important, if we zoom in on this, there, it says here solar 12 to 150 volts, 20 amp, max 1000 watts. I have 3 panels up there and they're each 285 watts. So yeah, it should be okay to put that in. That doesn't quite get to 1000 watts. Okay, I popped that in and it started saying noises, so something is happening. So let's turn it around. By the way, this is quite a heavy unit. So yeah, it's charging with 229 watts over there. And why is it doing that? Oh, by the way, I cheated out and I brought the cables in through the window here, and well, it was shorter. I would have to do another pair of extension leads if I wanted to go the other way. I know, I'm lazy. That's why 230 watts. It's not full sun out here. So yeah. So that is charging very nicely. These wires are of course way too long. I should really put the power station closer to the solar panels instead of closer to the servers. It looks better this way for filming purposes, but this should really be upstairs and then just run the 220 volt wire down here. That would make way more sense, I know. The setup that I'm gonna be playing around with involves this automatic transfer switch here. So I want to run the tiny little bit of server equipment. There is a server there, there's a NAS there, and there's a switch on the back, and also it runs another switch. Automatic transfer switch, it's very simple. It has two power intakes, one and two there, and then you decide which one is primary. So if I decide that one is primary, then it will stay on one until there's no power on one, and then it will switch to two. And it does that so fast that the servers, computers out here, never realizes it. So that's an automatic transfer switch. That could be used very well, but that would keep this going on and off. So I want to use the automatic transfer switch as safety. So I think I'll need to make you a drawing. Okay, here is a drawing of what I'm dreaming about. This thing is a power thing. It's the grid. This one is the R2500. That's where the solar panels, these are solar panels, and there's a little breaker there, solar panel breaker in the back of the RS2500. It also has something called UPS mode, which we'll get right back to. So solar panels goes into that, grid power also goes into that, then the power goes out of the R2500 and into the ATS, automatic transfer switch. So if there's good power here, the ATS should be set up. Okay, battery died on me. So the RS2500 is powering the ATS, which has also got grid power, but grid power is secondary. So it has two power sources to pick from. Normally the grid power will just go this way. If this totally fails, well, it will just get the grid power directly from the grid. So this is kind of to totally bypass all of this and keep us up and running. These are very, well, trustable. That powers my UPS. We haven't talked about the UPS, but the UPS is right over here. There, that thing. Everything is connected to the UPS, and that means that I can just disconnect the UPS and connect that to whatever power source. And I don't have to shut everything down and power everything back up. If I'm just quick enough, I can manage that. And if I prepare a little bit, it's just going to be swapping one connector with another connector. So yeah, that should be doable. So that's the plan. And my hope is that the R2500 will run in a way that it will use all of the solar panel power and the battery grid power in combination, so that if there's not enough solar, it will use whatever solar it has available together with wattage from the grid. Might not be like that. Well, that's what I'm gonna try out and test in this contraption. Okay, I'm messing around with the cables, and you can see I'm drawing 23 watts right now. It started out, well, it's actually going down, which is most definitely a good thing, because the only thing that is on is the automatic transfer switch. I'm not drawing any power from it yet. So that amount of power not doing anything is definitely not great. So but at the moment it's running off the batteries. It hasn't kicked in the solar, as it's just up to 100%. So, but I'm messing around with the cables. I have weird cables everywhere. So yeah, trying to figure this out. I'm afraid this looks like to be a total fail. I'll try and show you what happens. Maybe you have some good suggestion to what the heck is going on. So let's power this on. There, that's powered on. It will kick in. Got power there. Then this thing should switch over to 2, and it does. And hell breaks loose. UPS is complaining. Not much is doing here. This has switched back to grid power. Now the UPS has power again, and this one is usually doing an error. So something is not acting up nicely. Yeah, now we get an error over here. E2 does not like the load, and we get a buzzer here. And whenever it has switched over, it complains that the power is not good. Power is not good. So, what is going on here? I could try and replace this. I have another one. I have an APC sitting right down there. So, I think we'll try that. Yeah. Okay, came to think of, I've already started to unscrew this, but I came to think of something else. We could test. Now I have a wire coming directly from the R2500 Allpowers thing, so I could take the power to the UPS, which is now complaining, and power that directly. I don't think that's working. Nope. It's not powering it. Yeah, and we get an error down here. I'll try and power that up again. Come on, work. Nope. It does not do what I'm expecting it to do. So with this not working, I can replace the transfer switch all I want. That's never gonna work. Okay, dang it. Okay, I swapped out well, the transfer switch to this APC one, which is actually way better. Not because that it works exactly the same, but when I had it on without any load, it showed 0 watts down here. Right now I am actually pulling 160 watts out of it, because I put my server on it, so that is being that's running from the Allpowers at the moment. It has 2 power supplies, so I just took one of the power supplies and put over here. So I'm actually curious how much the server runs total power, so I might go and check that out. At the moment it's working, but I really wanted the UPS to be powered as well. It's not, so it's not a great solution. Right now we're just testing one of the power supplies, so it's not a big deal. So this server has 2 power supplies, as I said. I just tried to pull out the other power supply, and the wattage did not go up on the old power, so apparently it was using that power supply only, and the other one was just on standby. When I put the wire back in, and I could see on the old powers that it was checking out that power supply, and well, then the wattage went back onto that one. So apparently at the moment I'm not drawing a lot of power from the grid to this server, because it has some smart power supplies. It can prefer one of them and use that most of the time, and then only fail over to the other one. I didn't really realize that, but I think it's the UPS that is giving me issues here. The load on the UPS is of a kind that the Allpowers does not like. There's a little bit more sun now, so it's charging. It was 750 watts, now it's dropped a little bit. It's gonna be tough for it to get under 99% when the sun is out, but yeah, at night I'm sure it's gonna be cool. And later when the sun starts going down, the overcapacity of solar panels is gonna be good. So now it reached the full charge again, and it's probably gonna stay there for quite a bit. I'm gonna call this a semi-fail. I didn't get what I wanted, I got something else, but more or less I am running my server off solar power at the moment, and it is backed up with the grid power, but really not in the way that I wanted it to run. I could maybe probably move some more stuff over to run on solar power, but yeah, I'm gonna wait until I read you guys' comments down there. If you're way smarter than me, and you probably are, there's always someone out there that's way smarter than me. So be sure to read the comments. The smart people is in the comments, and they give us all the solutions for free just because I'm messing around here and they want to help me out. So read the comments and see what the smart people say about this. If you're one of the smart people, do let me know why this isn't working. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.